Hey guys, e-filing does not have to be scary. I have been teaching techniques for over 10 years, and I want to share my top do's and do nots for e-filing. I'm here to share with you my top do's and do nots for e-filing, and that starts off with your language. What we use at our desks is called an e-file, not a Dremel or a drill. This is a Dremel, has high vibration and a lot of torque, whereas an e-file has a great balance between RPMs, which is revolutions per minute, how many times that bit is spinning, and also has torque that is appropriate for working on the nails. This works on metal and wood. Another thing is, since you are sitting all day long, you want to make sure that you are using a telescoping chair and being parallel to your nail desk. So parallel meaning that our arms are parallel to our desk. This is really important. As you can see right now, my elbows are actually pointing to the ground. So what's going to happen here is I am going to force my upper body weight to actually strain as I'm lifting myself up to be able to work on my client. So I want to bring my chair up so those forearms and my elbows are parallel, all right? Also, if you're too high, what happens is you start working down, applying too much pressure on the nail plate, as well as hunching over even more. So very important, stay parallel. You also want to make sure that your feet are pointing straight and flat. We are doing a lot of sitting, so that's a lot of strain on our back. So anytime we are able to stabilize ourselves and have a little bit of movement, that is going to be a great thing. So no crossing legs, no sideways kind of stuff. So all right, now that I'm in a proper sitting position, I'm gonna grab my e-file, and this is how we are going to hold it. You're gonna pick it up just like you would hold a pencil. We're not doing anything funky up here, holding it like a toothbrush, holding it like a stick. We wanna make sure we're choking down as close to the tip as we can, because this is gonna give us the most control. Control is very important. Part of having control is making sure too that we are anchored well. So I'm using my forearms and even my wrists to make sure I'm stabilizing myself so I'm in control. I'm also gonna make sure when I'm working with my client, I always have an anchor finger that's going to act as a fulcrum to stabilize you. This is gonna vary depending on how long your nails are as well as how long your client's nails are. So I always recommend trying to use one of your fingers to work on your client. If that's not possible, because your hands are smaller because of your nails, anchoring it on yourself as you hold your client's hand. If you're working on yourself, one of my favorite positions is doing this right here. Leaning into my desk and then using my two wrists, anchor finger, that way here, I have a lot of control over my e-file, okay? And that's really important, especially when we're running at higher RPMs. All right, now that we've established that we need a fulcrum finger, now we need to talk about pressure. We don't need much pressure at all. You want to almost like be filing like you're petting a kitty, okay? We don't want to be scrubbing the nail. If you feel like you have to literally grind and scrape off the products, there's two things that I would suggest. The first one is making sure you're working with quality tools. That's extremely important. The second is you might be running your e-file too low. Remember, speed is your friend, especially when it comes to removal. Now that we're talking about the quality of tools, this is really important. I want to quickly show you the difference between an Amazon bit as well as an Erica's bit. Check out this Amazon bit. It is not cutting, it's vibrating like crazy, and it's not being efficient. If you continue to do this, your hand is gonna cramp up. Now I'm gonna use an Erica's bit. See how quickly the product's being taken off? It's safe, it's efficient, and it's how you're going to get set up for success. So choosing quality tools, super important, and also making sure you're working at the right RPMs. When you are running carbide, you never ever want to use it on the natural nail. You only want to use it on an enhancement, and you want to run at least 20,000 RPMs or higher. Here you go. Look what I am running the carbide on too slow. You can see that it's like grabbing the product and it's not really able just to cut through it like butter. Now I'm going to increase my speed, and look at that. How beautifully it's taking off the product, just like butter. I am just petting my little kitty. I have the right RPMs, I have a quality tool, and it's doing the work for me. I don't need any physical pressure. I don't need any cheapo bits. I need good bits with the proper amount of speed. Even with quality tools, they will have to be replaced. They don't last forever. This is really important because we want to make sure our time is efficient. The Erica's bits last between 150 to 300 services. That is going to vary depending on how they're cared for and how they're clean, okay? If you have one of these, a bit graveyard, this is exactly what you need to do. Trash them. When your bits are dull, throw them away. They are not making you efficient and they are not making you money. There is this like psychological thing that people have bit graveyards, but people don't have cuticle oil graveyards, right? When this bottle goes empty or when your top coat goes empty, what do? You throw it away. It's no problem. Do the same thing with your bits. It will set you up for success, okay? One of the most important things that my students in class will hear me say is you can only be as quick as your process. Part of having a quick and efficient process is making sure you're well organized. Organization will help you stay on track, and it'll also start to show, okay, why is my service taking longer? Hey, that might be a clue that your bits are going dull. So I recommend getting organized, whatever that looks like to you, whether that's having a few bit kits that'll get you through lunch with your favorite bits, stored in a clean little case like this. That way when a client comes in, I'm pulling out clean bits, or having something like a binder where they're displayed. The goal is not to fill this, okay? I manufacture these, so yeah, I get a pretty full binder, but it's not to make it full. It's to make sure you have multiple sets of the tools you love, because at the end of the day, you can only be as quick as your process. I wanna make sure that your process is streamlined. Streamlined is how you are going to make more money. More butts in the chair means more money in your pocket. So being organized is extremely important. A part of being as quick as your process is making sure that you have a solid disinfection process, okay? Cleaning our bits is extremely important, but also making sure all this dust that we're filing day in and day out is not getting into our handpiece. So one of the best tips and tricks I can teach you is when you have your handpiece all loaded up with dust, instead of removing the bit and then wiping off your e-file, all that dust is gonna go inside, and over time, your bit's gonna stick out farther and farther and farther until those chuck dogs are no longer able to hold the bit and it's gonna come spinning out. So what I recommend is having a nylon brush nearby and removing all that dust while the bit is still inside, so we reduce any dust getting inside of our handpiece, okay? So now that we have our dirty tools, we want to start our cleaning process. So I'm gonna quickly go over that right here. We'll either use an ultrasonic cleaner or we will do this manually by taking some warm soapy water and a nylon brush and removing all the debris. You have to remove all of the dust before you can actually put it in your disinfection, okay? If you have a bunch of gunked up bits, and I'll show you a gunked up bit right here. If you have a gunked up bit like this, your best bet is to just put it in acetone, allow the acetone to dissolve, and then start your cleaning process. So once all the dust has been removed with warm soapy water, that's going to kill a majority of the microbes. And then at this point, you can put it into your EPA regulated disinfectant. So I work with Lucaside, I'm gonna let these sit for 10 minutes. And for whatever reason, if I see any floaties in there, then I'm gonna discard my Lucaside and put in new, okay? Floaties are not our friends. We really wanna make sure we are being diligent with how we disinfect our tools. And disinfection is a two-step process. So once these tools have been sitting in our disinfection for 10 minutes, then I'm going to take them out. We are then going to take our bits and we are going to store them in whatever kind of organization. No more bit graveyards. So I really like this slim bit case. I'm going to store them right inside. Make sure the bits are completely dry, close them, and put them back into your organization, because you can only be as quick as your process. And now I'm ready for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, my next 8 clients. So there you have it. Those are my basic do's and do nots for e-filing. One of the #1 things I want you guys to take away from this is you can only be as quick as your process. Make sure you're working with quality tools and make sure the language that you're using is proper. The only way we can elevate the industry is by elevating how we talk about it. So once again, this was your do's and do nots for e-filing. I would love to hear from you. So take a moment and comment below of what was helpful and what you'd like to see. Also take a moment and please subscribe so you can be the first to know when I make another video. Until next time, see you guys.